Hello everyone, my name is Shailesh GSoC2026. Today I am going to talk to you about the topic testing in Flutter. I will give you a high level overview about this topic. Let's see what we have for the today's presentation. Now we will see what is testing, why matters, types of testing, Flutter testing ecosystem, examples of testing like unit and widget and integration test. We will see how to remove the external dependency from test using Mockito and see some best practices and key takeaways. Now let us move to the what is testing. Software testing is a part of software development lifecycle. Basically, software development lifecycle is like converting an idea to a product. It is a step-by-step process. In starting, we have an idea, and by the end, we have a product. Now, software testing is a part of it. It is divided into two parts: verification and validation. In verification, we check whether our app is following the technical design and rule and have any syntax bugs or not. In validation, the feature we add in the app, whether it is solve the user problem or not. Even if it is verified and it doesn't solve the user problem, it fails the validation. Now let's see why testing is developer's superpower. uh, if we find a common bug in the production, it takes a lot of effort to fix that. If using testing, we can easily detect that common bug in the development phase and save a lot of time. Testing forces you to write cleaner and more organized code. It ensures that your code is in a proper isolated environment. If it doesn't, it going to fail. Now if our app works smoothly, then it increases trust among the users. By using testing, we can find out the limits of our app, whether it only work for 10 users or can also handles 1,000 user at a time. We can use automated test which run in few seconds, while if we do manual testing, it can take a lot of hours. If we want to add a new feature, we can easily integrate into our existing code base. If it breaks something, we can easily detect that. Now let's see if it write wrong test cases and not even testing. So it can produce software bug, and software bug can crash an airline and can also give a lethal radiation dose to the patient and can also lose a lot of money from bank. So you can see how a simple software bug can cost lives and fortunes. Now let us see why testing is worth it. It ensures high quality product and customer satisfaction, which is the foundation of a successful app. Now we see that how testing saves money and time. It also ensures that the app is safe and reliable. We can easily integrate new features in it. Now testing allow other developer to tell how the code is working. It is better than the manual docs. Now let us how do we test? There are two ways to test the app: manual testing and automated testing. Now let us talk about manual testing. In here, we will open the app, click buttons, enter text, check results, and it repeats for every feature. There is a high chance that a human can miss something, and it is very time consuming. And we have to do the repeat this app for every feature we add. It is all is necessary for UX and visual design checks because a human can spot a weird layout, but a script can miss it. Now, let us see automated testing. Uh, Here we write the test code once and run the command and can get the results in seconds. And it run for every change we add. It is fast, give always give consistent results, zero human errors, and we can test everything and it can be easily scale. And we can also put this in 24/7 in CI/CD pipelines. Now let us see types of testing in Flutter. The first is unit testing. Second is widget testing, which is special to Flutter. Third is integration testing. We will see this in code example. So let us go to the unit testing. Unit testing is 70% of our test contains unit tests. Now unit test identifies 80% of our logic bugs. Here we usually write test cases for function classes and API parsing and state management logic. Now to write a professional test, we follow the first and triple A principles. Now, first principle state that the test we write is fast, independent, and repeatable. it should run quickly, it should not depend on some external factors, and all the time it should result in same, and it should result either pass or fail. There should no involvement of human, and we should write the test case timely, not after building the app. We write test cases using arrange, act, and assert. Arrange means set up the data, act means execute the function which we are going to test, and assert verify the result, whether it match our expectation or not. Then Mockito is a special library uh, which is used to create fake versions of the external dependency. uh, we can eliminate a factor like for in API, it is dependent on the internet. If we um, remove the internet, the API call might fail. So Mockito help us to fix these problems, and by creating fake copies of these external dependencies. Now widget testing is special to Flutter. It allow to run test in stimulated environment. It doesn't allow to boot the app properly. It is faster than integration test and more comprehensive. We can simulate a button tap, enter text, and pump a widget. Now let us see integration test. It is a complete end-to-end journey. Here we see full journey of how the user should interact with the real app. We will do this in a real emulator or device. Now I'm going to show you examples of unit, widget, and integration test. For writing unit and widget, Flutter provide Flutter test package for writing unit and widget test. For integration test, it provide another package. We will talk it about later. So all the test file we create should be placed inside the test folder, which is present in the root directory. Now I'm going to create a test file for this counter class. Uh, Now I'm going to verify its functionalities, like when we increment the zero value to be become one, when we decrement zero it becomes -1, and when we reset the value of counter becomes zero. Now we write test cases in arrange, uh, act, and assert. Arrange means set up the data. So here I have initialized a counter object. Now Flutter test package provide a method called test, which takes two parameter. One is description, where we write what does this test do, and the second one is body, which is a callback function. Now I'm going to give it a description. Increment the counter value by 1. So it checks, so this test checks if we call the increment method, does the counter value become once or not. Now inside the callback we write the logic. So I am going to call the counter dot increment. Now I am acting the arrange, act, and assert. So here we have arranged the data, act. Now I'm going to assert, verify. So there is expect method, where first parameter is the result we get from the actual code, the code we run. So I'm going to provide the current counter value. So using the getter method. Now what we expect? We expect the zero become 1. So here I'm typing 1. Now when I run this, reset the counter value by 1. Uh, so here you can see our first test case is passed. We get the value 1. So now I'm going to verify the decrement and reset. We want the value to be 0 in reset, and going to call the reset method. Now for decrement, going to call decrement, and the value should be -1. Decrement. Now when I run the test cases, here you can see all the test cases is passed, but there is one problem present here. Like if I move this decrement test one level up above the reset one, and when I run the test case again, Here you can see the decrement one is failed. So it breaks that are one of the principles, means all the test cases always should return the same value, but here the decrement is returning different value. So what is the reason? So the reason is this counter is initialized globally. Now this counter object can be accessed by all the three test cases. So when the test first case run, it can increment the counter value from 0 to 1. Now the counter value is 1, not 0. So again when the test runs, the value becomes 0, not 1. So here is the actual value is 0 we got, and reset is okay. To fix this, either we can do this like initializing the counter object in each of the test cases. Here you can see all the test cases pass, but it is not a clean way to do this. For that, uh, Flutter test package provides us a method called setup. What does this method do? It run every time before a test case start. So it also take a callback function as parameter. Now whatever we write inside that, it is going to run before the test case starts. It is going to run for each test case. Now here I can counter initializing the counter object. Now I will going to assign it globally. uh, this let keyword states that we and tells the Flutter we are going to assign it a value later, so don't throw us errors. So when I run this now, the all test cases will be passed again. Even if I move this to down again, all the test cases will give us the same results. Now we have also set up all method tear down, tear down all. Now we have first discussed tear down. We know the setup function runs before every test case. The tear down do opposite it. It runs after every test case is completed. So when this test case is completed, and if we write a tear down function, it will then executed. Then it will start call the setup function, and then execute the test 2, and then again tear down is called. Then after tear down is completed, setup is again called, and then test 3 will start, and finally tear down complete, and this test will be over. Now setup all is run before every test cases start. It run only one time. Similarly, tear down when all the test cases is finished, it run after that. Now we mostly use setup and tear down. Setup all is used to for heavy tasks like starting a database server. Now I'm going to show you how to write test cases for an API. So here you can see place remote data source class. It contains two methods. First is search place, which call this API. This API try to predict location based on the input. If it send like letter N, it will predict location according to that like New Zealand, New York, or Nigeria, etc. Now the other method is each location in this response, each location contain a unique place ID. When we give this place ID to give this function, then it will return a response which contain latitude and longitude of the location, which we can send to the Google Earth, and Google Earth will respond to according to that. Now let me show you the test case. Here is the test case written, and here is the actual code. We have created a variable which contain an object of do. Do is a package to handle HTTP request. Now this is a variable which hold place remote data source object, uh, which we are going to test. Now setup all, we are going to load env file. Now setup, we will initialize the do object and data place remote data source object, and passing the do and API key as the parameter. Now let's talk about what is group. Groups is a way to make your code more cleaner and organized. It is similar to test which takes two parameter. First one is description. The second one is a callback function. Inside this, we can write related test cases. So if we send this code to other persons or developers, they can easily know that, like, if I write test cases for such place, they don't have to look for they all know that all the test cases related to search place are written in this inside this group. So it help us. Now we have arranged the data. Now it's time to act. Now here we call the data source dot search place. Since we are making an API call inside the search place, we have to await it. For using await, we have to assign the test function. Now we are calling the expect method, in which we passing our result. Now here this method check the result we get is a type of list place model or not. Since this, you can see this method search place expect a list containing a place model. Now let me show you what is place model. Place model is can see it contains a description and place ID. Hmm. So this function must return this list containing place models. So here our test case is verifying that. Similarly, for this, we are expecting to return a fly to model. Here you can see the fly to model. Now let me run the test cases. So this is the response of from the first test case. Here you can see we got a long response here. In this we have a description which contain location name and a place ID related to the location. And here you can see we have since type n, it shows or predict location names starting with N: Nepal, New Zealand, Nigeria, and so many. Now here is the response of the second API from this test case. Now we have passed place ID, and it gave us a response which contain locations and its latitude and longitude value. So you can see that. Now there are some problem here present. First one is that we are using the real DO package. So whenever we call this API, it go to the server of Google and bring a response from there. If and if we here you can see, let me turn off the internet. Now I have turned off the internet. When I'm going to run this again, here you can see we got an error for the same test cases. Here the code logic is correct, but our since internet is down, the test cases is failed. So our current code is dependent on external factor, not only on the internet. Like here we sending the API also. If we send wrong API, then we again get an error. And also, if even we send the right API, sometimes the quota limit of the API for a day is over. Then again we are going to see an error. So on some, in these parameters, the test cases are dependent right now. So we have to make this test cases independent, for which we are going to use this package Mockito. What does this do? It create a fake clone of the external dependency. Like in my case, it is going to the DO package, and we have to install these two packages, Mockito and the build runner. Now let me show you. After installing the packet, how to generate mocks, we call the generate mocks from the Mockito, and inside that we are going to write DO. If we have multiple, then we give a comma and write the other dependency which we are going to mock. So I'm going to currently do for DO. Now after that we are going to terminal and create an. run this command to generate the mocks. Flutter pub run build runner build delete conflicting outputs. Now here you can see this is the test cases. Mm, Let it finish. And after finishing it, here a new file will be generated with this name place remote data sources test mocks. Now I'm going to refresh it. Here you can see the file is generated which contains the fake copy of the original do package. Now after that we are going to import that. Now let's look a side by side comparison. Here is the um, uh, like this portion is testing the using mock do, the fake copy of the. Now we are going to see side by side comparison. We have main function. Here you can see this is the mock version, and this is with the original one, original package. Now instead of original package, we are going to use the mock do. We use the same uh, place remote data sources. Inside this, we again going to use do. So here you can see almost everything is same. There are only few changes happened that is inside the test cases. Now you can see that we have written something this, and if we remove this like then the test case is almost similar. Now what is this? Uh, this is called a stub. Stub is way to now we actually in original package when we call the API it will go to the server, but currently we have created a fake version. When this will call we called when we call the API, uh, then it will not know what to return. So stub is allow you to tell whenever this method is called, you what you have to return. So this line state stub is written using when. Inside this when we call the method which we write the method which is for which we have to return a response when it is called. Now I'm going to here write any. What does this any is? Actually get method require two parameters. First one is the path URL. So any state that if any path URL is entered, you have to return this. We can even write this API also, but the problem is here that when we call the get method, then we have to write this path in the API. If we do write different path and it is here we write different path, then it will give us error. So we write any here in mocks preferred. So if we pass any URL, it will give the response. Now it also takes query parameter. Mockito provide us called any named function. Inside that we write like the name of the parameter. Here query parameter is so we have written query parameter. So whatever is called whatever the parameters are, we it will do not throw any error. Now we have written the method what we for which we have to get a response. Now it's time to get the response. For using we are using then answer. There is then written also which is used for simple tasks like calculation which get immediate results. Then answer allow for you for asynchronous things uh, like async. And here we can write response. Here is the response we are getting. Now I have already written this inside below. So what data we have to return. Now I'm going to for now remove this. This is using the fake version. Now when I'm going to run this, where we get a result of list place model. Similarly, here you can see list place model. Now even if I turn off the internet, here you can see, and again run the test cases. Here you can see all the test cases is passed. Now let me explain other test cases. So now we are in response we are sending what internal server error. So whenever we throw any error in return we send any error related thing, we do not await here. Otherwise it will throw error. Now when here you can see the logic. If it is response dot status code, here status code is 500. If it is 200, then it will give us the if this. If it is not, I think for this here it will throw error. If the response code is not 500 not 200, then it will go get through error. Now there is we are expecting value which is throw exception. Similarly we have then throw to directly return an exception whenever this method is called. So this is the API related thing and using mocks. Now I'm going to show you the widget section, widget test examples of. You can ignore this for now. It is related to the home page. It involves some necessary packages dependency which required, so we have created mocks for that. Now let's understand this test widget. To write widget test case, we use test widget. Similarly, where we have description and the let me test, sorry, widgets description and here is tester async. Now the what in this test widget it provide a tester. It is like a robot user. Usually we do the widget testing on a virtual screen which we cannot see. So this is the tester which help us to interact with the UI, that virtual screen we are talking about. Now we have await tester method, tester.pump widget. What does it do? It renders the widget. It takes a widget which renders the widget on the home virtual screen. Now I am passing home page here. The provider, since my home page wrapped around a provider scope, I wrapped this around a provider scope and also a material app. If it not wrapped around this material and provider scope, you can ignore it and directly write the home page. Now here we comes now here you can see one by one I explain you. Here we have await, test, pump and settle. What does this do? It rebuilds the tag widget continuously until it settle down or becomes stable and there are no more animations left. Now it we have a find text method to locate the text in the field. Now I will first with liquid galaxy. Here you can see the liquid galaxy. When I run this, here you can see this is the AB test which is passed. It is able to locate the liquid galaxy. You can see it is also present here. Now here is one thing is that the virtual screen is very small, so it cannot load everything in the virtual screen. If we remove that and here you can see if I map and then I again run this, there is the emulator. Here you can see view map is present here, but it show an error because the virtual screen is small. This view map is in below this screen. We have to scroll up to get the this. Now I have scrolled up using the scroll unit visible. We can scroll the UI. It takes to parameter well. The text we find want to find. Now for 500, it will scroll 500 pixels at a time. Now it's scrollable type. Now when I run this, Here you can see the test case is passed. Now I'm going to remove this. Here you can see I have created multiple scopes, test cases. Ignore this part, it is for state management. So here you can see we have, if I want to locate the Liquid Galaxy controller and Gemini summer code, uh, and you can see these are the things are present on the home screen. Let me move to the one more important part, which is where here is like we have wrapped around provider scope. Provider scope under the hood create a um, provider container, which is like a database for an app state. Since my connection provider, here you can see, uses these services, so I have to create mocks for that, and I have to pass it. The Now here we have used uncontrolled provider scope. What this normal provider scopes allow you only to push this data into the provider scope. We cannot access states here. Uncontrolled provider scope allow us to do that. Now we have after setting this up, we will call the pump and settle, find the view map, and scroll to find this. We have seen and make it this table. Now we are reading the notification navigation provider. Here you can see it initialized to 0, and it contains the value. So what is saying, when we tap the view map, here you can see when we tap this view map, the index should be changed to 2, which is on the 2 index map page is present. Here you can see it has changed. Now I'm going to explain you an integration test. For writing integration test, we require a package called integration test from the Flutter. It is you help us to write integration test. Now we make it in a separate folder called integration test. Now I'm going to quickly explain you that. It is similar, only thing is different here. Fun from widget testing. Here you can see this line. What it tells that test runner to not run it on a virtual screen, instead on an actual emulator or a device. That's the thing. Now we have called the test widget, and now I'm going to here is app.main. It launches the app. Now we are locating the flow. I'm going to explain the flow here. Finding the text in the home page. Now after finding the settings icon, and also clicking on it. Now here we have located the settings icon. Here I'm going to show you. We have this tells to tap on that. Now after that we have on this settings page, it is checking whether we are on settings page or not. If we are on the settings page, settings, here you can see it is present as a text. Now we are going to input these fields uh, using enter text. Now we are going to connect to the Liquid Galaxies. It will scroll up to the this and going to click on it and try to connect it. If it is connected, not connected, it will return. If it is connected, it will go to the map page, search Paris, locate Paris France text, and click on it. And after clicking on it, our logic is built like when we click on any location, it will move to send a KML to the Google Earth. Now the Google Earth will move to the particular location. After that, we will move to the home page and click on show logo, and after that click on clean KML, and finally finish this. Now I'm going to quickly show you the integration test, and after that we will finish things. For this I have to set up things like starting the virtual machine. Let me start the virtual machines. So now I have set up everything, like started the Liquid Galaxy virtual machines. Now this is the command which I'm going to use to run this integration test. It This command will take some time to execute. Mm, After this, we will look some best practices uh, uh, and uh, and some key takeaways and finish this. Here you can see the test is started, which will tell you a complete user flow for LG starter kit. Here you can see it is connected. Here you can see the Google Earth is moving to the Paris. Now it will go to home and show logo. Here you can see the logo. Now clean KML and the test is executed. Now let's move on to the presentation and finish this. So we are going to see best practices and then key takeaways, and then we will end this. So we have to regularly test code. Whenever we add a new feature, we have to ensure that all test cases must be passed. We in initial development we should get user feedback. It ensure validation we are building the right product. We should break large test cases into smaller part, which is easier to debug and manage. We should keep our team updated on the test status and coverage. Now let us see the don'ts of the what to avoid for scripting regression test. Like a if our test case worked yesterday, it doesn't mean it will going to work today. We have to regularly check whether it is working or not. Whenever we make some new changes, we should avoid writing test case after the coding. We should write while coding or a test driven approach. We should fix the test immediately or remove them. Failing test. Now test help us to catch bugs early, not at the end. So we must ensure that we should do testing before release. Now let us see some key takeaways. We see how testing is important in software engineering, and while building the product, there are three types of testing in Flutter: unit, widget, and integration test. Then we must follow the first principle: test to run fast. It should independent of any external factor. Our test should be repeatable. Should always result the same. It should be self-validating, either pass or fail, no manual checking. We should write the code timely. Now we should follow the AAA pattern: arrange, act, and assert. Set up test data, execute the function, and verify the result. Now we should use Mockito for creating fake versions of API to remove external dependencies. Now we should test FUD and code later. We should use test-driven approach and prevent bug before they exist. So now here are some references. Thank you for watching this presentation. There are a lot of things which are present in testing. I just show you only portion of it. Thank you very much.